So it's very likely that you recently video chatted, whether it's Zoom, Google Hangouts, and what else? I think Skype, is that still a thing? That thing used to freeze up on me all the time. I mean, maybe you Skyped in 2020, come on. And I don't know about you, but I think it's really fun to replace the background like if I had a green screen. Now, when I thought about video backgrounds a bit more though, since I'm into cameras and, you know, recording video and stuff like that, I was curious, like, what are the basics that make a solid video background? Now, of course, every single video in the world can function as a video background or random B-roll to a certain project, depending on the circumstance. There was like a fuzzy. But I did identify a connection between solid videos that are versatile and can function as video background, B-roll, blah, 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 blah. So I just want to quickly go over those connections that I found, because I think that mastering low-hanging fruit is always the way to go whenever you're learning something. So let's get started. Alright, so tip number one, you want to have a stable video, because if you want to use the video that you're shooting as your background, then if it's all wobbly and all over the place, it's gonna get everyone dizzy, it's gonna get you dizzy and distracted. So you want to use a tripod, like normal tripod, or even boom, one of these, or of course a table, a flat surface, anything you can put your camera on so that it can be nice and steady. Do that. So tip number two is kind of related to tip number one, where you want to have your camera be leveled both horizontally and vertically, because you always want to have a leveled horizon. It's just going to look weird if you have a crooked video, especially if you place it as a video background behind the subject. And if it's not leveled vertically, then it might look weird as well, because the angles are not going to match, the perspective is going to be off. So recording a nice and straight and flat video is going to give you a clip that can be used effectively as a video background, overall look nice, and maybe you could use it as B-roll, stuff like that. So just make sure everything is leveled and you're good to go. Alright, so tip number three is probably the most important for these types of videos, which is you don't want to have a clear subject. Take the focus away from anyone watching the video. If you want to have the video as your Zoom background, you don't want to have the video be of a person's big old face, because it's going to be so distracting if you put it behind you. When it comes to recording these clean videos, you want to be a bit of a minimalist, even though there can be movement, you know, it could be a time lapse and stuff like that. But again, you don't want huge distracting movements like a close-up of an animal or a person. In an era where everyone's attention span is very short and every single video is cut up very quickly, every single frame has something to pay attention to, adding this buffer, a video where the vision can relax and you don't have to focus on any specific thing, can help improve your projects or function as a cool video background for your Zoom, your website, or many other things. So tip number four is choose your focus. Now what I mean by that is you can record a video like normal, you know, everything is in focus, but you can also switch to manual focus and defocus. So many focuses, but defocus whatever you're recording. And if you put it as a background, it creates a separation and it also eliminates any distractions, kind of like how I mentioned in a previous tip. Oh, and it also gives off a similar look to a portrait with a shallow depth of field, so it's a pretty cool effect. So the final tip is just a reminder to get your shutter speed correct when it comes to video. So it should usually be twice your frames per second. So right now I'm filming in 24 frames per second. My shutter speed is 1/50. If I were to do slow motion 60 frames per second, then my shutter speed should be 1/120 and so on. This creates a slight blur, but it's the rule that mostly everyone uses because it's closest to what we see with the naked eye. And on a final note, guys, I know there's a lot of photographers that practice and get really good at taking minimal photos and it becomes their thing, right? But I haven't seen too many video makers that focus on recording minimal videos that can function as really awesome video backgrounds, and are overall well known for always having such clean videos. So maybe you guys can take the tips that I mentioned in this video and master this category. Now that's it for this quick video, but make sure you go to pexels.com and get inspired by all of the awesome content that everyone uploads there. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.